Yo, hello guys, my name's Mighty Max, welcome back to a brand new video guys. Today, this is going to be a bit of a different kind of video. The reason that I'm in this video, and I'll just sort of tell you guys this because some of you guys might be annoyed that I'm actually in the video and there's no music. I want to talk over this sort of time-lapse of this art that I made because it's a weird one. It's a weird piece of art for me, which is why I want to actually go over it. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's the only reason that I'm here. And maybe I'll also explain some other bits about why I actually enjoy art and that sort of thing. So, yeah, let's just get straight into the video. Alright guys, so first off, obviously, as you may or may not have expected, my face is not actually in the video. I just want to do a voiceover. It's nothing special, it's something that all the other YouTubers have done. I simply want to make a voiceover for this video because this piece of art that I made on Scarlxrd, who is he's actually a British rapper, but he sounds American. I like him, he's cool. Now, I started drawing, I was drawing a completely different picture when I started out this piece of art, and I think that could be the reason that this art turned out a bit differently to how I wanted it to turn out, but I was actually going to draw a human skeleton hand, right? So there's no skin. It's just a skeleton hand with the middle finger up. I don't know what it was, but it was just some sort of aesthetic, I guess, that I felt was cool to put into a piece of art. But yeah, so it started out as this, and then I actually decided to move on, and I saw this sort of face take shape, so I went to draw another guy with a mask. And I didn't actually have Scarlxrd in mind at first, but I figured that I wanted to draw another masked sort of character, didn't know who I was going to draw at first, and then ended up being a Scarlxrd by the end. I think it turned out okay, but I don't think it's how I wanted it to turn out, and that's why I'm making this voiceover, because as you'll sort of start to see when I get to the end, I add some chains and some straps to it, which, if you don't know who Scarlxrd is, that's things that he wears that sort of thing on his jeans and that sort of thing, or if you're American, he wears them on his pants, and he's a cool character to draw, and I added the chains and the straps in at the end to sort of match with his character, which I thought was good, I guess, but the whole piece of art just doesn't look right to me, and I don't know what it is. I can't figure it out, but I think I've lost something in the making of this piece of art, and it's so bland and boring, yet it also describes Scarlxrd's character very well. So it does a good job of showing you who he is, but also doesn't do a good job of showing any sign of colour or light, or there's nothing coming out of it. Now, bearing in mind, Scarlxrd is he's more of a heavy metal artist mixed with a hip hop artist. That's why he's getting huge because of that. Because he's different to everybody else, which I appreciate. And he's got all this screaming sort of parts as music, and I was like, oh yeah, this is cool, I like it. And I think the whole no colour, no light, no happiness in this picture actually makes sense when you think about what the music is about. And I can't play any of the music because it will definitely get copyrighted. YouTube at the moment is really starting to suck, to be honest. That's just the whole thing, though. It's not for me, but YouTube in general is a bit annoying with the copyright stuff at the moment, so I'm not going to bother putting the song in the video at all, but I will put it in the description if you want to check him out. And yeah, so he makes this sort of heavy metal music. The way that I drew the picture was that I wanted to only draw it with one pencil. I definitely nailed that. I only used one pencil. Good job, Max. But at the same time, it's just missing something, and I don't know what it is. I feel like I didn't add anything of my own in there to spice it up, and maybe that's the issue, but I'm not too sure. Really. There's only one explanation for it, which was, and I'll sort of go into this in more detail in another video, but I definitely suffer with some form of depression, whether it's extreme or mild, I don't know at this point. It's gotten pretty bad before. Now, I don't really want to go into this too much now, but I will talk about it in another video. Art definitely helps for me. That's just one of my things. It's an escape, and it helps. And the sort of whole depression thing is bad, right? You feel gloomy. You feel like you feel awful, and then to achieve something whilst feeling depressed makes you feel happy, and whether it's for a few seconds or whether it's for another month, who knows, but achieving something whilst you're depressed helps, at least in my case. That's why art for me is such a big deal, because whether it's on a regular basis where I'm not happy or I am happy, I'm achieving something and that makes me happier. You know, whether I'm down or I'm happy, I'm gonna be happier. So it's a pretty good all-rounder. And when I was actually making this piece of art, I was listening to Scarlxrd because I felt down. His music is good for, you know, when you're down. It's just a good release. It's like you're releasing whatever, you know, crap you've got going on in your head without actually releasing it. He does it for you, and it's great. That's why his music's good. And when I was down sort of drawing this, I feel like maybe that's the reason that this didn't turn out quite like how I wanted it to. The only thing is like, I feel like something's missing. It's not like it didn't turn out good. It's definitely not one of my best pieces, but I just think the change in like my headspace and how I was feeling has changed how the picture came out, because the whole like chains and the straps, which you may or may not already be seeing in the video right now, when I add them, that's like a totally different me, right? When I'm drawing that, that's when ideas are coming in. When I'm like depressed and stuff, like my mind is just muffled, nothing really works properly, so thoughts don't really come to my head like that. But the idea of the chains and the straps thing totally made sense to me at the time, because, you know, I was like, oh, this is an idea, it fits in with this character, it totally makes sense. And then I finished it and I was like, something's not right here, and I feel like it's because of like how I felt at the time when I was drawing it at first and drawing it at the end. Because I took such a big gap in between finishing the piece, I feel like that's what has made this turn out slightly off for some reason. And I don't really know what that is, because I don't know how it would have turned out otherwise, but for some reason I just feel like the whole piece didn't really change. It kind of changed to how I felt when I was drawing it, and when I was like depressed and stuff drawing this picture at the beginning, it's almost like I had so much more like thought going into it, and there was a lot more energy actually going into drawing the picture. Whereas at the end, towards like drawing the chains and the straps and just finishing off tiny little bits here and there, I was then getting distracted by the mood of like the actual artwork, and instead I had all these ideas coming into my head, which made me sort of go off course. And I feel like maybe that's why this art piece is a bit different to how it should have turned out. If I'd like carried on drawing this art piece when I was a bit down, I'm sure it would have turned out a lot different. I just don't know how. But I kind of just wanted to go through it in this video and, you know, see what you guys think. Hopefully you guys sort of know a bit more about me now, as far as, you know, me behind the scenes, like emotions and all that sort of thing, and how I actually am in real life. Depression for me is like not really a jokeable thing. It's real for me, I think, and art always helps. Art has always helped me. Ever since I started doing art like regularly, it's been such a big help, and sometimes it just pulls you out of the deep pit that you fall into. So if you're out there and you are depressed, but you can like draw, or maybe you can't draw, but it's something that you want to get into, I would just totally suggest getting into it. You know, it only takes a good drawing to actually get you glued to it. It's artwork for me is almost like a drug, right? In the sense that you're drawing something and then you achieve something, and then when you've got a good drawing and you're really happy with it, you get addicted to like actually getting that good achievement from a good piece of artwork, and that at that point you're kind of glued to it, right? Like you're kind of addicted to the feeling of making good artwork. And with this piece of artwork, I didn't feel as accomplished as I usually would, and I think that's just due to me, you know, having some emotional changes throughout the artwork. And maybe you guys will notice it in the video. I'm not too sure, because I'm not actually watching it back right now. I'm just sitting in front of a screen on the computer. It's not anything special. I'm just looking at Audacity right now. And I don't know, I just feel like my emotions and the way I was feeling changed the artwork. But it could be just me. And I don't know, am I happy with this artwork? Kinda. It turned out to be a face. I've only drawn like profiles, you know, of the human face like, what, 4 times in my life, so it's not something that I've done very often, but when I really get my head down and try, it works out. It's just one of those things, you know? So I think with this piece, I'm happy in the sense that it does look like a face, it does look like someone wearing a mask, it does look like Scarlxrd, and I think if you are a fan of Scarlxrd, or you have seen, you know, Scarlxrd somewhere, you would still recognise that it's Scarlxrd from the picture, even without seeing Scarlxrd in the bottom right corner of the page. You know, I feel like I did accomplish that at least. It is who I was drawing, but I don't know. There's no real character to the artwork, at least from my side. Like, I haven't added anything to it that's different, or I haven't added my own twist to it. The only thing that I would say is something that I've kind of started is that I just draw with one pencil only. That's definitely something that I've done on the past couple of profiles that I've done, like portraits actually is what I mean. Like I've only done portraits a few times in my life. Portraits I've always only done with one pencil. That's just something that I've always done. I don't know why, but that's what I've done. And essentially, because I don't really have that much money to spend on like art supplies, having the opportunity to only use one pencil for an artwork is actually pretty good. You know, it's coincidentally quite helpful, because it's only using one pencil up for one artwork, whereas I could be using like 50 other pencils, or charcoal pencil here and a normal lead pencil here, or whatever, you know? But I actually just use like cheap art supplies, to be honest. And that's it. That's literally it, and it gets me through making art. It works. It just shows that you don't actually need all the crazy equipment to do what you need to do. But I think really I'm going to stop rambling here at the end, and I'm just going to finish off the video here. I'm hoping that this video sort of links up at least with what I'm talking about at some point in the video. And yeah, I mean, that's basically it. If you want me to go into more detail though about art why art is a big thing for me, I'll definitely make another video about it. I might just make a video about it anyways, because it's a big deal to me. for like what it does for me, and I think that it could help out a lot of other people. So yeah, that's basically it for me, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Absolutely smash the like button, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Stay mighty. Peaces.